name is Sada. I study in class 9. My favorite subject is English.
Meet Sada. She is 14 years old and she lives in a village called Martinpur in Pakistan. She has 3 younger sisters and 1 younger brother, and she goes to Christian Girls High School. We're going to follow Sada and her family through a typical school day. What in her life is similar to what happens in your life? What is different? Sada's village is probably a little different than the town you live in. Most people live in houses made of mud and brick, with only 1 or 2 rooms. Almost everyone in the village keeps some farm animals, and so there are lots of animals wandering around in the street. Instead of big stores and supermarkets, people buy most of what they need in little stores in the local market. And when they need to go somewhere, most people take a horse-drawn tonga or go on foot. Very few people have a car, and most of the village roads are made of dirt. Lots of families in Sada's village work in the fields, or make bricks. It is very hard work. Sometimes the parents need help from their children, so it is hard for a lot of kids in the village to come to school every day. But Sada's dad is the pastor in the village church, so she and her sisters and her brother are very lucky. They get to go to school every day. Every morning, Sada gets up at 6 o'clock. She has to get up early because, as the oldest child, she helps take care of her brother and sisters. Her day begins at the water pump, where she brushes her teeth and washes her face and hands. Then she spends some time reading the Bible and praying. Sada helps cook breakfast for her brother and sisters. Today they are having a typical Pakistani breakfast, parathas with egg and potato. After breakfast, the kids get ready for school. At Sada's school, all of the students wear uniforms to help them take pride in their education and stay focused in their classes. Getting ready can be a little cramped when everyone has to share a room. School starts at 8:30, but they like to be there early to meet their friends. This is Sada's school, Martinpur Christian Girls High School. There are 375 children in her school, from nursery to grade 10. Some boys also go here, but when they get to grade 6, they have to go to the boys' high school down the road. When the bell rings at 8:30, all the children gather outside the courtyard for morning assembly. They meet their classes and stand in very straight lines. It's quite a production. Sada and her sister Rimsha are some of the leading girls, and they help by standing in the front during the assembly. Today one of the teachers is giving a lesson from the Bible on good behavior. All the students pay close attention. The children also sing a hymn, say the Lord's Prayer, and sing the Pakistani national anthem.
And then wins.
Here is Sada's classroom. There are 28 students in her class. Right now they are studying English, Sada's favorite subject. The teacher writes all the hard words on the board, and the students copy them down and define them in Urdu. Singing songs also helps the students with their English skills. You might recognize this one.
If you're happy and you know, then say hooray, hooray. If you're happy and you know, then say hooray, hooray. If you're happy and you know it, then you surely have to show it. If you're happy and you know, then say hooray, hooray.
At 11 o'clock, all the students get a break. There isn't a lot of playground equipment, but the children still have a good time running around and playing games with their friends. This one might look like the game you know. Now Sada is working on her Urdu lesson. In Pakistan, Urdu is the national language, so the children learn to read and write it in school. Urdu is written from right to left, and most of the letters are connected, like cursive.
आगे आपने कंप्लीट करनी है, ठीक है?
Here are the 10 Commandments written in Urdu outside of Sada's classroom. This is Sada's science lab. The students do a lot of science classes. There isn't a lot of equipment to go around, so all the students have to share and pay very close attention to make sure they understand the lesson. Science is an especially important class for Sada. She wants to be a doctor when she grows up. The school day ends at 2:30. Sada comes home with her sisters and they do some chores together. Dishes need to be washed. And at the cowshed down the street, the animals need to be fed. After a nap, the kids work on their homework. The lessons usually take 1 or 2 hours. Sada helps her brother and sisters with their homework too. When the work is done, the kids have some time to play. The children have a lot of room to run around in the courtyard, and the flat roofs are a great place to fly kites. This game Sada is playing is a little like hopscotch. Sometimes the children also like to watch cartoons and movies, but often neighbors and relatives come over to share the TV. It can get kind of crowded. Sada helps serve dinner to her siblings. Usually they have a biryani for dinner, a mixture of rice, vegetables, spices, and sometimes meat. The children also like to eat different curries, especially ones with carrots and cauliflower. At the end of the day, the family gathers to say prayers before going to bed. They sing a song and read from the Bible. Then they all say their individual prayers and pray the Lord's Prayer together. Now that we have followed Sada through one day of her life, what do you think? Are there similarities between your life and Sada's? As Christians, we are all part of the same family, no matter how different we are, and the Bible tells us to support one another in love and prayer. You can pray for Sada and her family, and for all the children of Pakistan. In fact, let's do that right now. Sada's family is going to pray the Lord's Prayer in Urdu. You can follow along in English with the words at the bottom of the screen. Ready? Thank you, or as they say in Pakistan, shukriya.